You're watching Daybreak. As promised, it's time for the press review. First look at what's on the front pages and analysis of those big stories. We begin with our sister publication this day, leading with the visit of the U.S. Secretary of State to Nigeria on his whistle-stop tour of 4 African nations. Well, here's the headline. At bilateral talks, Blinken says Tinubu's reforms are bold. Discloses U.S. entrepreneurs eager to invest in Nigeria. Canvasses ease in capital repatriation. The photograph tells the story. And other stories there. we will provide security agencies whatever will make FCT safe and secure. FCTH profile Uber drivers, ban unpainted taxes. CBN hinges monetary policy easing on reduced inflation. Above the masthead this morning, Undume to Tinubu. There will be consequences for moving CBN departments. Fan to Lagos. Says President being misled by Aso Rock cartel. That's this day for you.
Let's look at the Punch and see what it is saying on its front page. It has a kidnapping epidemic. Kanu, 9 others, Mal, death sentence, life jail. It has 2 riders, Kanu, Benue, Anambra, others commuted to death sentence for convicts, officials. IG orders intelligence gathering and abductors. The kidnappers, landlords risk 20-year jail term. There you see Blinken and a handshake with the president. Blinken meets Tinubu pledges $45 million security fund for Nigeria and others. And INEC meets security agencies over February 3 by-elections. 2 arrested over mass death after hotel sex romp. Let's look at the top mast. It says, FG to sell 5 power plants for $1 billion. Naira depreciation pushes drug imports to 950 billion naira. Nigerians lambast Wike for downplaying abduction epidemic.
The Daily Trust is focusing on the fresh crisis in Plateau State this morning. It says 8 killed as fresh violence erupts in Plateau. Mosques, churches, house burnt. 24-hour curfew imposed in Mango local government area. We have deployed troops, right? That says the military, and you have pictures there of some of the wounded receiving treatment in a deplorable state on the floor, I must say. Another big headline on the front page of the Daily Trust is sacked PDP lawmakers storm Plateau Assembly. APC members stay away. Daily Trust for you.
The Guardian says broadband target dicey as 31 states of the Federation remain underserved. 12 in police net over NMP APC supporters clash in Kano. Government generates 1.7 trillion in December, shares 1.1 trillion. That's Naira among federating entities. EFCC to arraign Obiano, former governor of Anambra State, for alleged 4 billion fraud today. AG hands over 700 megawatts Zungeru project to Messi, M-E, not the footballer, M-E-S-I, may stabilize national grid. Police move against self-kidnap, arrest suspects in Lagos, Plateau, Abuja. Go Assembly impeaches. It's impeaches Olomo for alleged fraud. That's its speaker. And of course, the Blinken Tinubu hold bilateral talks on security and economic cooperation. Ijo Youth Spengerson set for showdown over sale of Shell's onshore assets.
Indeed, you want to take the Punch Sports Extra before we go to the foreign papers.
Okay.
So I can bring in Professor Denny.
Okay, let's do this Punch Sports Extra. Punch Sports Extra, it says, how are you? How are you? Because Ghana is out. Boss attack and an angry nation sums up yet another dismal Ghana AFCON story. Some other stories there. It says Trustekon resumes training. He's been injured. He's not been playing. In tennis, Djokovic, Sabalenka golf through to the semis. And United players, Man United tired of Ten Hag. Greenwood nears Barca move. All right, I think we'll just... Haaland back in training and Salah out for a month. At least he will not be playing against Arsenal how many days from now. Pesero, Eagles will score against Cameroon. It's not about scoring, it's about scoring more goals because it said they've not been scoring. Osimhen must be calm and draw by rages over host humiliation. That's for the sports.
Okay, very quickly to the international papers. The Independent this morning. The Independent is leading with an investigation scandal of 30 staff suspended at one mental health unit. Well, the NHS medics are among those investigated for harming patients and falsifying records as major inquiry into mental health care set to launch after a series of reports by the newspaper.
The Daily Express. Grace lost her life because she would never leave a friend.
Now, this story about Grace makes it to the front page of most of those papers, and I think that we're almost out of time. Let's bring in Professor Abiodun Adeni, Arise News analyst, to help us digest some of these big stories this morning on the front pages. Great to see you this Wednesday morning, Professor Adeni.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
And
thanks for having me.
Great. Let's quickly go into it. This day, for instance, leading with Anthony Blinken's visit, a couple of papers also carry that. What do you make of some of the things that were said? Tinubu's reforms are bold, but long-time challenges, problems must be solved. And he talked about two major ones: repatriation of capital. Investors are not able to get out their money when they want, despite President Tinubu saying all the time. And secondly, he's talking about corruption.
Well, yeah, first, I think it's a welcome development that he's stopping by in Nigeria against the background of what we've witnessed in recent history, where very senior U.S. officials simply fly over Nigeria, coming to Africa. Now it's a good development that we're among the 4 countries who has come to Africa, to see or to visit. But some of the issues raised are things that we expect. We've been talking about it, problems with repatriation, and we know why this is so difficult in Forex on account of the lack of production, the fact that our economy is also declining because of reasons around insecurity, some macroeconomic inadequacies, and of course microeconomic inefficiencies as well. So the call is making. I think it's a call that is on the mark, something we know, but reiterating it simply means that we have to up the ante, to use that term again for the uptenth time. But beyond that is a diplomatic. Score, a good diplomatic move that this time around they are able to stop, is able to stop by Nigeria. It simply means that there is hope for Nigeria in terms of partnering, in terms of multilateral or bilateral relationship, with a very influential nation in the global space.
All right, let's still stay with this day before we probably go to Punch. 2 stories jump at you. Under Tinubu, there will be consequences for moving CBN department's fan to Lagos. A writer says President being misled by Asoro cartel. Looks like some people just love the word cabal or cartel. That's one story. And then we will, from Wike, we will provide security agencies whatever will make FCT safe, secure.
Yeah, first, the question of moving sections of ministry's headquarters to Lagos it's been in the air, and we know how sensitive these has been. But again, we do not expect Senator Ndume to sound differently, except that he's giving us a new term to qualify the putative groupings of people. From before now, it's been a matter of cabal. Now he's talking about cartel. Well, whatever it is, we're just okay that consultations are going on. We have heard that meetings are going to be held with the president, so that they can come to an understanding, resolve it, considering the sensibilities, that have been triggered on account of the movement. There have been arguments that Lagos is congested. There have also been counter-arguments, that Abuja belongs to all, we all have equal right to be protective of it, as citizens. But again, I made a point somewhere else that all these are necessary conversations, conversations that are integral to nation building. And of course, the border on the psychological aspect of it, the kind of signals that you give, and the kind of optics that you present, just so people can feel a sense of equal integration. And when it is otherwise, then it becomes problematic. That's why you see people talking about insurgencies, talking about disagreeing with the center. These are political calculations, political discussions that we have to deal
with the fact that the president is from Lagos.
Yeah. The fear is also rife. You remember the president has been a rounded activist in the past, and he's been reported to have said he doesn't believe, at some point, rightly or wrongly, in the unity of this country. I mean, that has been also denied severally. But again, some of these things, will remain subtext, and we may not necessarily deny that in the days of activism, there might have been emotions flaring up, leading to some kind of pronouncements, But like I said, it's just about assurance and reassurance, It's a continuing conversation. And the kind of assurance that you can give, it's what, stakeholders will see, to trust you or to invest their hope in your ability to continue to lead the nation state.
Okay, very quickly, let's look at the Daily Trust. 8 killed as fresh violence erupts in Plateau State. The governor has now imposed a 24-hour curfew in Mango local government area. But the other story coming out from Plateau State yesterday was that of the resumption of plenary, the State House of Assembly, and of course the brouhaha over who exactly should be sitting. The appeal court sacked or the appeal court, upheld lawmakers.
But that's what's coming up from Plateau State is just unfortunate. We are all practically see sets of politicians trying to resort to self-help, practically wanting to take laws into their hand, which is a recipe for anarchy. The appeal court has delivered its judgment. Very unfortunate, very painful, very irritating that they have lost in a case where the governor is being retained, against the same ground. But what can they do in the circumstance? The best thing they can do in a lawful environment is just to go back to that appeal court, or probably to go to Supreme Court. I know I've had lawyers providing several interpretations, and there are excellent attorneys in the country that can guide them, But resort to self-help it's not going to help anybody. And if you think, you want to resort to self-help, you should always imagine that the other party also have the capacity to countermand you. And when we have this kind of tangle, the outcome is always unsalutary. The best we can do in this circumstance is just to appeal to parties involved, to go through due process, the statutory process, which is the law court. So that we can have peace at the moment. The governor can do nothing else other than declare the curfew that he has declared. Welcome development, but of course, we do not want Plateau, to be a sore point once again, especially after the December catastrophe or the December destruction, pre-Christmas, that is.
Good, great. Thank you so much, Prof. Adani there. That's a press preview. Let's hear your views on all the burning issues on social handle Arise TV.